No more Brett Hundley on the show.
I cannot hear Grace. Oh, that's right. That's what happens when you don't speak into your mic, Grayson.
Hello.
There we go.
What up?
Hey, guys.
Welcome to the Big Four.
No, I think we're the big three today, actually.
Yeah, we are the Big Three. Well, we're still talking about four sports.
That's fair.
Oh,
no, do I have to change my analogy now? If
I suppose
if
so.
we're just the big three, I think we got to figure
so.
something else out.
Yeah, you're going to have to go to the Miami Heatles.
No, I don't think the Heatles are a good
dibs
fit,
on being
though.
Bosch.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
there you go. You got him.
Man. So that means
There
one of
it
us
is.
is Dwayne Wade and the other is LeBron James. So who are you advertising today, Jake, with your cracking open a cold one?
I don't want to say I've gone back on my allegiance because I still prefer Pepsi over Coke.
I mean,
But I'm drinking a Pib today as opposed to Dr. Pepper.
I don't really get the Pepsi over Coke thing, but I respect it.
You got to stand by what you know, man.
I guess.
And I know Pepsi and I know soda, but I love Pepsi.
All right.
So, I don't
Obviously,
know.
we started with a different voice this week.
Where's Austin?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think he drowned today in the torrential downpour Norfolk's currently
Maybe.
experiencing.
He's like, oh, I'm sick. Not, man, you're not sick. He's like, I'm not sweating today.
He's
I'm like,
feeling-
that doesn't mean anything. that means
Come
that means
on.
that you're actually healthier than
You
normal.
literally missed a show because you had the flu. The guy's feeling under the weather. Have some respect,
You're
Jake.
right.
You know,
right.
not
Have
much
some
is
respect.
happening in hockey right now, and it was a big
Ah.
basketball week. He was like, I'm not ready for it.
Yeah. He's not ready for Rick, and he's not ready to talk about the
He's like,
Wizards
this guy's
this
wearing
week.
a shirt
So
with basketballs on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he's sitting this one out, but we're holding it down. So let's jump right in. What do you want to start with?
I mean, we had this trade. He effectively got traded like 2 months ago, right? We just didn't know where and for what.
he got traded the second he walked into Minnesota practice and was like, with Tyus
Give me
Jones
Tyus
and the
Jones
crew,
and
and
this-
back down
yeah,
Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns. Of course, we're referring to the biggest news of the week, and that is that Jimmy Butler is finally out of Minnesota, a new 76er. And my question to you guys is, was this a good trade? Was this trade actually better than the Houston trade? Because I honestly don't think so.
I really don't think so for Minnesota, just because 4 first-round picks is a lot of value to pass up. Like, I know with Houston, they're likely going to be kind of late firsts, even in 2025 probably.
But it's still a first-round pick nonetheless.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. It's still 4 first-round picks, and you're getting players, too. It's not like you're only getting the 4 firsts.
Yeah, they were also going to get Eric Gordon,
Yeah.
and I believe no, PJ Tucker wasn't on the table. That's why they threw in the extra first.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah. So
It was like Eric Gordon, was Melton might have been. No, I don't think Melton was on there. But yeah, it was like Eric Gordon, some other pieces, and 4 firsts, and that's a ton to give up for one player.
mhm.
And Eric Gordon is a pretty good fit for
he
Minnesota.
provides an offensive spark that they don't have.
They don't have
so.
a lot of shooters on that
Yeah,
team. Derrick
exactly.
Rose is their best 3-point shooter right now. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Yeah.
That's probably still Cat, but like
It's rough.
it's
rough.
just it's really hard to think
Well,
about
the
for
fact
Minnesota.
I mean, Cat, how tall is he?
It's like 7 feet tall, 7'1".
Exactly. The
something
fact
like
that a 7-footer. You want the 7-footer in your team to be your best shooter?
I mean, it's the fact that he
It
can be your
depends.
best shooter that's nice about Cat, right? But the only problem with Cat is like he hasn't shown it yet.
I
you know?
mean, Dirk Nowitzki being your best shooter on your team isn't a terrible
Well,
thing.
Dirk Nowitzki's
No.
He's
a legend.
Yeah, he's a once in a
Dirk's like the
lifetime kind of player.
Third best power forward of all time, literally. He's
I love Dirk Nowitzki.
Dirk's
I don't know
really
about
good.
that, but we'll
So
that's
glad
another
he won a
conversation.
ring.
this is
But going
irrelevant.
back to this thing, like, I love the memes that I've been seeing
Oh,
of like
yeah,
Markelle
yeah.
Fultz being scared for his life
I
because Jimmy Butler's coming to make fun of him.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be
Jimmy's-
so great.
Jimmy's gonna run him out of town. It's gonna be terrible.
To sit in on that kind of conversation would be awesome. He's gonna be like, man, I'm not passing this guy the ball. He'd pump fakes on a free throw. Like, who is this guy?
He's
Clown.
faking himself out
Yeah,
in a free
really.
throw.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know. Ricky and I have had this conversation a bunch. I don't understand how you can be the leading scorer of the Pac-12, be the first #1 overall pick. Yeah, you get a shoulder injury, but then you completely forget how to shoot a basketball. Like, what?
I don't get it. Grayson, you've seen video of his shooting form, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they had the whole thing about, Marco Fultz has polished his shot. It's changed. He's a shooter now. And then he goes to his like opening game, doesn't take a single three.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he finally makes one in Wells Fargo Arena, goes nuts.
Yeah, they
they
have a
go
standing ovation for him.
crazy. No, I fully stand by the whole Lonzo Ball should have been the point guard
mean-
for Philly, but that's another topic for another day.
I like the Lonzo fit in Philly, but I think the thing with Markelle is I mean I've told you this, and I think I've said this on the show before probably, but I'm not all the way out on Markelle yet. because
Yeah,
it's his
you
second
still
year,
believe.
and he's played.
He's what, 20 now?
I think he's 20 now, but it's like you look at him, he's only played like 40 NBA games or something.
Exactly. I mean,
It's actually just
Yeah.
impossible to think about, and considering the injuries that he had, like he basically spent his entire rookie year rehabbing, trying to fix his shot, not playing, and now it's like he's actually getting some amount of minutes consistently. And if he's just gonna come in and be like your primary ball handler off the bench, and like your number 2 point guard or something, then I think that's a good fit for him because you don't have to worry about sharing.
I think it's
floor
all
with Ben
about
Simmons.
expectation. I don't think it's fair, even these great college players, to expect them to come to the NBA, make an immediate impact, immediately be
Right.
elite. I just don't think it's fair to judge.
Well, it's just sad, and I think
Yeah.
I think it goes along the whole like, oh, well, he was the number 1 overall pick,
Mhm.
and he had this many points in college. Why
Yeah.
isn't he doing the same thing on the pro level? And a lot of players, and Ricky, you and I have touched on this before. A lot of players aren't immediately going to catch up with the pace of the game because, as we know, the NBA is way faster than college basketball.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, he's coming from the Pac-12. Like, Pac-12 really isn't that strong of a basketball conference.
They're starting to get there, but
Right. But, like, despite UCLA was really good the year that Markelle came out.
Oregon too. Oregon was good.
Oregon was really good, too. And I believe Oregon's probably... Zona was supposed to be, but Zona's not.
No, Zona's whack.
Right.
Zona's
So,
pretty whack.
yeah, the whole thing about Markelle Fultz, I agree that maybe I've given up too soon. But I'm still gonna stand by the fact that he should definitely be a bench player for now.
Yeah, I don't think he should start right now because you have to basically with Ben Simmons playing the 1.
Right, he's a
Which-
point forward.
Yeah, he's a 1. And JJ Redick being an unbelievably good fit next to Ben Simmons
Shout out Duke.
at the 2, another Duke guy.
And I think this is really
Mafia all
interesting
in the
because
NBA.
something we see a lot in the NFL, quarterbacks coming out, and even star quarterbacks, first-round picks, sitting for you. Carson Wentz was supposed to sit a year
Yeah.
before Bradford got traded.
Exactly.
And it's no big deal. People are like, we need to give him a year to learn the system.
Right.
And that doesn't happen in the NBA
Right.
unless you're injured. If
Well, I
a
think-
guy like Markelle Fultz or if like Luka would have come off the bench for a year,
Yeah.
people would be like, well, he's a first rounder. Why is
Yeah.
he on the bench?
Exactly. Yeah, I think that that also is a good point because the narrative definitely shifts. I think NFL fans are definitely more patient than NBA fans.
Yeah, which actually is super weird considering like the shorter career lengths
And the
for
shorter
NFL.
season.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually really weird.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That's just I never even thought about that kind of stuff because, well, frankly, with how we've seen it, this year in particular is a weird year for first round quarterbacks because they all start. They're all
Yeah, they're all
starters now.
starting.
By the halfway point of the year, they were all starters. So it's I don't know. Maybe the NFL is making a shift towards what the NBA is doing, but
Maybe
who knows?
I think it's because we have this history in the NBA of like rookies coming into the league and just massively like outperforming expectations. Like look at the rookies this year. Like Luka Doncic has been incredible this
Yeah,
year.
Doncic has been really good. Trae Young is really
Trae Young
defied
is
my
shooting like he
expectations.
did
Trae
Yeah.
Young
first
is-
half in
Mhm.
Oklahoma last year.
Yeah.
Look, if I'm a Hawks fan, the only thing I wanted to see from Trae Young is signs that he could be the same player he was at Oklahoma. And we've
And-
seen that so far.
right,
Like
that's
he's definitely
exactly-
shown that, and this has been a success then.
He looks confident.
Yeah.
He looks
Yeah.
really confident. I think Vince Carter helps that a lot too.
That's
Yeah.
actually Vince Carter's veteran leadership. I think is something that could be worth.
I think
that's huge.
Actually,
Yeah.
getting a big dig into.
That's a good point. He definitely brings them something that they don't have, and that's a veteran. And I think that, like you guys are saying, that helps Trae Young kind of regain the form and not lose the confidence that a lot of players we see lose that are really good in college. Like, for example, like Shabazz Napier. Like, he was so good in UConn.
He really was.
And then
though.
all of a sudden he gets to Miami and it's like, no, I'm good. Like he's just the complete pace. It's just a
I'm guy.
complete, yeah. It's just like that overnight. He just was like, I'm a bum now. Whatever.
Same thing. Remember Peyton Siva from
Yeah.
the Louisville
Yeah,
team?
it's funny,
Peyton
we were actually
Siva.
talking
Like what
about this earlier.
2013 Louisville
Yeah.
team?
Yeah. And Peyton Siva was so good at
was
Louisville,
unbelievable.
and then he gets drafted by Detroit, and he can't even make the roster.
Nope.
So
And we saw like Trey Burke from Michigan,
Trey
Trey
Burke,
Burke's
I'm
still
gonna
in the
tell you
league.
this.
He's
still
no-
in the league.
but like he's still in the league
He's
and
a good-
he's not bad. I'm not gonna try to say Trey Burke's a bust or
but
anything,
he's not the college player of the year that he was at Michigan.
and especially that first year in the NBA.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think he's redeeming himself a lot with this run with New York, but I don't know. I have a lot of hope for him that he can turn it around. There are players out there that can turn it around that we've seen.
Yeah,
It's just those kind of players like Andrew Wiggins and Jabari Parker that never live up to the expectations. Granted, I think that we all kind of gave those two a lot more expectations.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I think the biggest problem is
Like
one of the worst things that we do is we set these really high bars for players coming
Right.
out with comparisons. You know,
Mhm.
like Andrew Wiggins' nickname coming out of
Was Baby
Kansas,
Bron.
No, it was Maple Jordan.
Oh yeah.
can't
That's
just
right.
be-
He
you
was
can't just
supposed to be Michael
doing
Jordan
that,
of
man.
Canada.
You can't just be doing stuff like that. You know, because we had the whole like, who's the next Jordan thing after Jordan retired? We
Right.
had like T Mac and Vince and Kobe
And then
And-
Bron.
and then Bron, and it's like, but the only problem is like you look at specifically Vince and T Mac, it's like they sort of never lived up to the expectations that we set for
Well,
them. Because you can't
no,
just set
yeah.
expectations like that for people.
Especially when it's Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You,
You
can't
know.
just immediately expect someone to fill those shoes. Like I don't know if we knew it
Mhm.
at the time, but he's probably the best basketball player ever.
Who?
Michael.
Yeah, I agree. I was just making sure that we were clarifying.
But it's just
Not talking about Tracy McGrady.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was like, I'm trying to make sure we're not talking about. I mean, I love Vince and T Mac,
Listen,
but
Vince
they're
and T-Mac are
not.
great.
They're not MJ. They're
But
not
yeah,
even top
no,
10.
It's just that it's like setting the expectations for people. They're basically just setting people up to fail.
Mhm.
It's
you
like
know?
we
And
even
it's something that you have to carry with you for your entire career.
we saw the Steph Curry comparisons to Trey Young.
Right.
Buddy
even when-
Hield. Buddy Hield even. coming
Yeah,
after
when
the
Ben
trade.
Ben
Mhm.
Simmons was in
Getting
LSU, people were giving him the LeBron comparisons.
Yeah. And
I just don't know
And
how you do that to a kid.
Zion's getting them now too.
Yeah.
Like, I just hate it. We need to
Well, it doesn't-
really tone down the
it
comparisons.
doesn't
that
help
we
that
make.
he's kind of homaging to LeBron James.
I mean, yeah, but
And he's
It's-
been in the social media spotlight for a while
Oh my
now.
gosh,
Yeah.
yeah. His hype, his
Man.
Ball's Life mixtape is still
I was watching
one
Zion
that you
highlights
watch.
like 4 years ago, dude.
Yeah, I've been watching him. I was watching Seventh Woods highlights back in high
That's
school
true.
too. So like it's very interesting, and we could probably talk about this all day in regards to like how detrimental those like
Yeah.
comparisons, not even just in basketball, just comparisons to other players in general, can be. But what I want to get into, I think it's fair that we have to congratulate LeBron James, fifth
Yeah.
all time
He passed-
scoring.
He passed.
Yeah.
He passed the Big Dipper. Wait, no, we didn't talk about it from Philly's point of view.
Oh, from the trade.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, what else is there to say? I mean, I was kind of like.
You got the best player on the trade market, basically.
Right. You got the best player in the
and
trade market. He definitely makes your team less soft than it was.
He raises your ceiling too, I think.
Right. And I don't believe that they're a better team than Boston right now. But
What about
they
Milwaukee
What do
or
you mean?
Toronto?
Like, that's the thing. No.
Yeah.
Right now, Boston's not the bar because the
Well,
bar is Toronto, Milwaukee
right,
now.
but I still believe that looking at rosters and still with season's expectations, I think Boston's still the best team in the Eastern Conference. I told you this. I said that Boston's going to beat Golden State in 7 games in the finals
yeah,
this
I
year.
think we agreed on that before
Right.
the season started.
Right. And
We talked
despite
about the matchups.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
despite their slow start and subpar start, to be honest with you, I still believe that they're the team to beat in the East. But I will agree with you that right now Milwaukee is very warm. I don't believe. I'm not a firm believer yet, and I think I mean Budenholzer's making a difference.
Yeah.
Giannis Antetokounmpo is the second best player in the East,
Yeah.
but Philly just got the third best player in the East,
Yeah. Philly probably has the third best player in the East right now.
and Toronto obviously has the number
Yeah,
one.
Kawhi is the best player in the East, and I don't think it's close. He's
Yeah.
looking like San Antonio Kawhi. Like I maybe should have won MVP instead of
He's
Russell Westbrook
he's
Kawhi.
looking like Steve Ballmer's going to make him a billionaire by the end
You know
of
what?
his time if he signs with the
I-
Clippers.
I honestly believe you.
like that's what I'm seeing from Kawhi Leonard.
But I think for Philly, it's like considering what they gave up for him, like they actually, all things considered, didn't really give up that much. Because like we've seen some of the hauls for superstars over the years, right? And it's just like two pretty good kind of young rotation players.
Yeah.
It's kind of not that much
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't give up any picks, they didn't give up any like stars in return.
Yeah, like going back, and I mentioned this obviously in the beginning of the show. I thought the Houston deal was way better
Yeah.
for Minnesota to take, and for Philly to swoop in and get it from them like that. It really kind of blew me away at the time because I was like, why? Like this is just you trying to get rid of him. And I imagine they probably went back to Daryl Morey and was like, please give us back that offer, we'll take it.
Yeah.
And then Daryl Morey was like, aha, I'm not an idiot. See you later. I have my own problems, which
Yeah.
we'll get into after this.
Hopefully,
No, I want to go there after this.
yeah. But no, I
Um,
think the biggest thing for Philly looking at it is how Jimmy Butler actually fits with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Because the problem is Jimmy Butler's not the best 3-point shooter in the world.
Right,
I mean,
right.
you know Ben Simmons obviously doesn't shoot threes like at all.
Yeah, Ben Simmons doesn't shoot threes.
And Joel Embiid can shoot threes. He's like,
Yeah.
I think he's shooting about 35%.
something like
36,
that.
something
Yeah.
like that. Like he's a respectable 3-point shooter. It's just the
Mhm.
problem is Embiid's too busy bodying literally every
Right.
living person you put in the paint.
Yeah, he's
'Cause-
not. His focus should not be shooting threes.
I mean,
And that's what they have Redick for.
right,
if
and that's
he's
why
in-
you brought in
if
JJ
he's in
Redick.
position to shoot threes, obviously.
Well,
like,
yeah,
if
but
he's unguarded and on
in
the perimeter-
transition,
in transition, I
maybe.
think that's fine. But it's like ideally in the half court, he's annihilating some poor soul in the paint or something.
Yeah, and that's so. I think that he definitely shores up their defense, and I believe that this is also a move to kind of challenge Zaire Smith to step it up
Yeah,
and
that's the
become an
biggest thing.
offensive
If
plug,
Zaire
which is what
Smith
he should be.
Is like your 7th dude off the bench now, or your 8th dude off the bench now, and you need him to come in and score because you're not really going to have that with probably Markel.
Yeah, I mean, I
Um,
think if it's me at this point, I think because he has more experience, Markel's going to be coming off the bench earlier. But by the end of the year, Zaire Smith, if he plays to what we know he can play as an offensive player, he should definitely be ahead of Markel in the rotation.
maybe I think the problem is the whole Zaire Smith thing is interesting because I don't know if we talked about the trade, but I
Mhm.
thought it was a good trade for Philly because you get someone who actually rates as a future ball handler and more of a star player than
As
Mikal
opposed
Bridges
to
did.
Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you need if you have Ben Simmons. Is you need someone behind him that can handle the ball.
If anything, I guess I don't think it's far fetched to believe that what they had in why am I blanking right now in Bridges is what they're getting in kind of Jimmy, just a defensive anchor.
Really, I don't think so because I think the whole really nice thing about Mikal Bridges is that he rated as a nice 3-and-D wing.
Right.
As
and-
opposed to a
as a-
potential superstar like Jimmy Butler, who's
Yeah.
like a legit star.
Right, but I'm saying to a looser extent, it's kind of the same way. It's
Yeah,
just like
okay,
it's like you
okay.
trade him for an offensive spark plug, and then you go out and you arguably and you trade for arguably the number two-way player in the league, maybe number
I
three.
think number 3. I think
'Cause-
Giannis might be a better 2-way player than Jimmy right now.
Yeah, and then Clay's at 4.
Yeah, Clay might be better than Jimmy. I think Clay's better than Jimmy.
Okay, so let's say arguably top 5.
Yeah, he's a top 5 2-way player.
Okay, so definite top 5, arguably top 3. Anyway, so yeah, I think it's a win for Philly all around. I don't see
Yeah.
a detriment to this. They gave
mean-
up nothing. Philly.
Wow, nothing. Wow.
Well,
okay.
With all respect to Rodney Covington, you're not Jimmy Butler.
You're sleeping on the homie
And-
Dario, man.
And
Come on.
Dario, you're not Jimmy Butler either.
I think the
Sorry.
biggest issue for Philly is how the fit works offensively and
If,
what
he,
it does
if he's
to
got
your
a
depth
problem,
a little bit.
if he's got a problem with this, he knows where I am. Okay,
I'm sure he does.
you know, I'll jump up, give him a jump up uppercut.
You have to jump a pretty good ways to uppercut
Yeah.
Dario.
Yeah,
The homie's a little tall.
it's all good. I'll get up there.
They need 3-point shooting. They just traded 2 of their best 3-point shooters.
Right, and I want to transition into that. So we mentioned Daryl Morey
Right.
and Daryl Morey's struggles, right, with what they're dealing with right now in Houston, and we found out before the show
Mm-hmm.
they have 10 days. 10 days, Carmelo Anthony will be a free agent, and
Yeah.
free to sign
He's
anywhere.
hitting waivers, I believe.
Right, he's going to hit the waiver wire, and I think that it's not far-fetched to believe that a team that needs three-point shooting, like Philly, would consider bringing him in. And I honestly like I like the fit. Put him at a stretch 4. You know, him,
Yeah,
Joel Embiid, Jimmy Butler, and Ben Simmons and JJ Redick. I just don't see where they go wrong with that. Don't get me wrong, it's Carmelo Anthony. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
But he provides them an offensive option that they don't have currently, and that's shoot it. I mean, well, it's crazy to say that they don't have shooting with JJ Redick on the team, but
JJ
more
Redick can't be
shooting.
your only shooter.
right, he helps space the floor in a way that Jimmy Butler's presence can't,
Yeah.
and that's why I think he'd be a beneficial signing. I know Grayson's probably going to disagree, but
I mean,
being a Thunder fan,
Yeah, well, that was just a failed experiment. My thing with Carmelo Anthony, and I can get to this later, how I kind of feel bad for the guy, and I feel like people are whipping him for it, and like just not kind of respecting his legacy.
I
But
think we all kind of agree that he's really good, and that I believe
I
we
don't-
all agree he's a Hall of Famer.
I
I
don't know
believe
if
we
he's
all
good
agree.
anymore, though. That's a thing.
Well, we all agree that he's a prolific offensive personnel that we haven't
Prolific
seen.
offensive talent. It's
Right, right.
just his ability to channel it lately hasn't really seemed
Like I
that
said.
good.
yeah, because my
Yeah.
thing with Melo is we saw when he went to OKC, there was that kind of early in the year, it was kind of like, I'll shoot first, like being Russ, and then, I got to get it to PG, and then, I got to make sure Melo has the ball. So there was kind of like that hot potato type feel.
Right.
It just didn't really flow. And then when it started to flow with the Westbrook George kind of 1-2 and Melo in the corner, that just never really panned out as Melo just being a shooter. He would either still take the deep two. He would dribble once, or he would catch on the wing and then try to post someone up and turn around. And then we saw with Houston, when you have James Harden and Chris Paul, those are your ball handlers.
Yeah.
No one's going to try to say Carmelo Anthony is going to be a better ball handler than Chris Paul or James Harden. So he didn't need to be that, and he still didn't pan out just to be a shooter in Houston.
Yeah.
So going to Philadelphia, can Carmelo Anthony sit down and say, okay, I'm the fourth best player on this team? Can I just hang out in the corner and wait for someone to pass me the ball every third or fourth possession, maybe?
Not even the fourth best player is the worst part.
So, I mean, on Melo's standpoint, and his shot hasn't been there. We've seen that the past 2 years. His shot hasn't been there. So I don't know how good of a fit it is. I would rather have a Kyle Korver if you're able to get him via trade.
We all read those reports that Philly wants to bring him in. He's very, very appealing to contact Cleveland and bring Korver in. And of course, it's not hard to wonder why. Yeah. But I just thought that would be interesting. What do you think?
But Carmelo fit?
Yeah,
I think it's more theoretically nice as opposed to like actually. I don't know. I don't like it just because like they're still a kind of young team. They are in win. I think they are officially in win.
They're a win
now
now for sure.
The window exists, right? Like you have two of the 15 best players in basketball, maybe in Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid
already,
and then you had Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, and Jimmy Butler's arguably top. I mean, he's top 15.
So you have maybe 3 of the top 15 players in basketball. Like that's hard to think about on the same team.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, I guarantee you that they're the best. They're probably the best. They're probably in that category without doubt in the next 2 years.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's Jimmy's kind of looking like it's going to re-sign in Philly, if I had to guess.
You think so?
I think so.
I don't know.
There's talking about it after the trade. So
we'll see. Yeah. I imagine it's an appealing option.
But
and of course, with how cap is today, anything can happen.
Yeah, that's true. Ever growing, man.
Especially if they can get into playoffs, make the Eastern Conference Finals, make the finals, either take down a Boston, take down a Toronto.
Yeah,
Milwaukee. Good luck, man.
That's pretty attractive if you're Jimmy Butler. But like you said, good luck.
Yeah. I don't know. Just the Melo thing seems pretty like high risk, maybe potentially low. I mean, I guess it's high reward because what if you get old Melo?
I mean, it seems like something you want to happen, like you want it to work, but will it work?
I just don't think it's gonna work because we haven't seen that with him, right? Because like
I think when everyone saw the move from Oklahoma to Houston, people were like, "Oh, this is such a great fit. It's so much better than OKC. He can just be a shooter now, playing next to. He has a real point guard in Chris Paul, and it didn't work. He arguably looked worse in Houston than did in OKC.
Yeah, which is crazy, but then again, it's always it comes down to D'Antoni.
Derrick Rose turned it around, so what do I know?
Yeah, exactly. The NBA is so topsy-turvy.
Yeah. I don't know. I just if I'm Philly, I'm being careful if I'm even looking at Melo, and I kind of don't want to do it at all.
But just to wrap it up on NBA, I think good.
Want to talk about KD and Draymond, right?
I want to talk about this terrible time that I've had the last couple days. I've mulled it over, and all of what I've been saying about this guy has been confirmed in just that little action. I know everyone's like, "Oh, you know, you don't appreciate it. You don't do this. You don't do this." No. I don't like Draymond Green. Let me get that out of the way right now. I haven't liked Draymond Green since Michigan State, so let's just throw it out there. You guys can skip ahead if you want to, because here we go. I don't understand how you can be on a team where you are arguably the fourth best player on that team. You're not, but in my opinion, you're not. I think Andre Iguodala is better than you.
Wow.
And I think that you are the guy that you go to the rec center and you're all playing pickup, and your team and his team has won 5 in a row, and he thinks it's because of him, but in reality he's grabbed 5 boards, maybe a couple tip backs, but in reality it's every other guy on that team around him. I'm not saying that Draymond Green doesn't provide a spark, because he definitely does, because when a guy gets in your face, obviously you want to play better to shut him up. Yeah. You're a dirty player. You're, like I said, you're the 5th best player on your team, in my opinion. Why are you dribbling the ball into 4 men when you have Kevin Durant on your team right there telling you to pass him the ball? What are you doing? Who is this guy?
I don't know, man.
Where do you get off? Like, no, forget you, man. Forget everything about that. What are you thinking? You are not better than Steph Curry. You are not better than Klay Thompson, and you are not better than Kevin Durant.
And he hated playing with Westbrook.
Yeah, exactly. So why on earth Why? Draymond Green, why do you think that you are this way? You are not them. You are a 6'6" power forward that cannot carry a team. I am sorry. Like, that's just how it is.
Then he goes up to Boogie and tries to like defend his
Yeah.
case. It was like
Yeah,
I had the late like I don't know what he
when
was trying
DeMarcus
to say.
Cousins is looking at you like, "Oh man, you made the wrong choice, man." A guy like, come on, dude. You need to go. And what's going to be great, and Ricky, I've said this since the beginning of the year, when Klay Thompson signs with the Lakers and Kevin Durant signs with the Knicks, and you have no choice but to be the second best player on that team, and you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it. No way. No way. Steph Curry is going to be the best player on that team, and he's going to blame you for all the problems and why those two guys left.
Steph is not going to blame.
Forget
Dre.
you, Draymond Green. And you got a problem with it, come find me, okay? WODU Studios, I'm here all the time. Please feel free to walk in. I got some words to talk
Was
to
he
you
on the
about.
list?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is his notice. Dre is officially on the
You
list.
are officially on the fight list. Run up, because I would love it. I would love every minute of it.
Jake, I got
And then
really,
to come at a man's salary, like
Yeah,
the
and
reports
then to have the gall to be all like, well, we don't. It's like when somebody comes at you, right, for a mistake that you made or a potential about you might know whatever. Oh well, we don't even know if you're gonna stay with us next year. Blah 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 blah. Forget you. You know that you made the wrong decision, and that's why you wanted to deter all focus from you and your screw up to Kevin Durant and his potential leaving. He has all right to leave, just like he had all the right to leave Oklahoma City. And you know what? With you being the way that you are, I guarantee you've pushed him into MSG. He's gonna be a Knick next year, and that's how it's gonna be. And it's gonna be all your fault, Draymond Green. End of rant. Again, if you got a problem with it, you know where I am. Fight me. I don't care. I don't care. I don't like this guy at all.
punch out for his feet. He'll kick you.
Let me gouge out LeBron James's eyes and act like nothing's wrong. Come on, bro. No.
Jake, I got bad news. Virginia Beach ain't more hood than Detroit.
That's okay. I don't care. Like I said, bro, I know how to fight. I can take this guy.
Jake has like an 8 Mile vibe going on with the beanie and the
I got my Eminem little thing going right now. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty hard right now. But
switch the camera here.
Clay's not gonna sign with the Lakers.
Yes, he is.
There he is. There he is.
Yes,
B-Rabbit.
he is.
No, he's not.
B-Rabbit on the microphone.
He's not signing with the Lakers. All right.
Yes, he is.
Man, we're literally 27 minutes and we've only talked about basketball.
You're right.
Listen, Dre, you messed up big time, and you shouldn't be calling out KD's impending free agency.
Yeah, you have absolutely zero right to do any of that because who are you? You are nowhere even near where Kevin Durant is, bud. You have no right to talk about anything in regards to his career. You have nothing on him. Anyway, let's move on.
MLB?
Yeah.
Let's go to
Gotta be
MLB.
quick.
This is
We gotta be quick.
We got awards.
Let's quick run into it. The AL MVP decision is today. So who do you got? Who you got and why, Grayson? You want to start us off?
Oh,
Okay.
Betts.
You got Betts?
Yeah, I don't think it's
I'll
close.
take Mookie.
You taking Mooks? I'm taking Mooks too.
Yeah, he played a whole year, man.
He played the whole year, played well the whole year.
Yeah, he's a 5-tool player. He's a good 2A player.
Love Jose Ramirez. Sorry, bud, not this year. Mike Trout, maybe if you had played the whole season.
If you played the whole season, you're the best player in baseball. And
before he didn't play the full season, he was actually putting up MVP numbers. I think no one can argue with that. But what Mookie did in the outfield at the plate, I think it's not even close.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mookie Betts is going to run away with it, just like Christian Yelich is going to want to run away with that now.
Yelly is NL MVP. We had Cy Young.
Let's go. Yeah, Cy Young. So
I'm so happy.
You're happy for DeGrom?
Man, I'm happy for DeGrom. I'm happy for Blake Snell.
Yeah, I'm happy for both.
I don't know why Chris Sale didn't get a nominee.
Yeah,
that was my only
for me,
that was weird.
I was looking at the AL ones and
concern.
I was like, Chris Sale isn't there.
Yeah, it was weird. I appreciate that Blake Snell did win. I love Blake Snell.
Who did they give the nod to instead of Sale? Because it was someone. I don't remember what the actual
was Verlander.
Finalists were. It was the
was it Kluber?
No, it wasn't Kluber. I don't think
it was.
It was
God. Who was it?
Snell and Verlander and.
It was. What? Excuse me. It says, Blake Trinian. Blake Trinian, the closer for Oakland.
What?
Oh.
Okay.
Odd, right?
Thank you. All right. Anyway, so whatever.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
Snell
glad
won.
Blake Snell
that's
won.
great. Shout out to Tampa Bay for again putting out unbelievably quality
Or,
pitchers.
no, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Why did I read that wrong? Sorry, guys. Google messed up on that one.
Thank you, Jake.
AL Cy Young, it's Kluber, Blake
It
Snell,
was
Justin
Kluber, okay.
Verlander.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think that's.
So
I don't know. It's just
Blake
it's weird.
Snell,
I thought
Blake
it was
Snell won.
Kluber.
Deserved, well deserved for
Yeah.
him. Big positive for Tampa all year long. Super consistent. Can't say anything else about him. He's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great pitcher. Tampa is still. I mean, it's gonna be a huge bummer watching him pitch for like the Tigers or something in 4 years. But
You mean watching him pitch for like the Dodgers?
yeah, something like that. I don't know. I mean, maybe the Tigers rebuild's done by then, and they can sign a big free agent.
Who
pitcher.
knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
NL though,
But the NL,
they got it
yeah.
right.
Yeah, I think they got it right
I
too.
think they probably got it right.
He got all but one first place vote.
Yeah,
Wow.
Jacob DeGrom had a great year,
And not to
he shouldn't be faulted. For
not
how
to take
terrible
anything
offensively
away
his team
from
is.
Searcher and his over 300 Ks this year. That was spectacular.
Right.
But DeGrom coming in with a 1.71 ERA.
What was his? He had like 10 straight starts where he,
He had-
didn't allow an earned run or something like that.
He
Am I
had like
remembering that
a
correctly?
crazy. It was like without allowing three. I think it's on like a streak of like 23 or something with allowing three or less earned runs.
Yeah,
I think it's still active.
That's
I honestly, the
what?
fact that he won 8 games is impressive. With that
considering-
lineup,
Yeah, considering how
yeah.
the Mets are,
with
and
how
the run
terrible
support
the
he had,
Mets
too.
are.
The
Yeah,
run- oh,
offensively, how
there was
terrible they
one
are.
occasion I will never forget against the Braves where the Braves won the game. When he went out, it was like 1-0.
Mhm.
Or no, it wasn't. It was like 2-1 or something. Braves were up, and the one run came off DeGrom's bat.
Right, he
Yeah.
literally,
It was fantastic.
he literally has done everything for that team.
So,
He's so good. Very
not to
well
take
deserved.
anything away from Max Scherzer, but Jacob DeGrom, I think,
Yeah,
deserved it.
he literally put everything out there. It's you can't because you can't take anything away from his season. And with all due respect to Max Scherzer and Aaron Nola, you guys just
Yeah.
don't provide what what he tried and attempted to provide all year long and did for the most part to the Mets. And it stinks that he has to stay on that team with that poor run support. They are the weirdest offensive team of all time that I've seen in a long time.
There's really only one kind of gripe I have out of all the awards was AL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, that was
Who won it?
weird.
I was actually
Ohtani.
Shohei
Ohtani
Ohtani.
did
Oh, that's
win.
right. Ohtani won.
Kind of forgot about him, not going to lie. I think it should have been Andujar. That's who I would have voted for.
You thought so?
Well-
I thought so too. I made that prediction maybe a week and a half ago on Twitter. I think that it's more of a testament to how new Shohei Ohtani is, and he's a player that we have never seen in our lifetimes.
Congratulations. The last player like him played literally 100 years ago.
He was Babe
It
Ruth.
was, yeah, it's literally
So-
a guy named Babe Ruth.
So that being said, like statistically, I agree. Gleyber Torres and Miguel Andujar were offensively better candidates, but they didn't pitch, and they
Yeah.
weren't shut down pitchers like Shohei Ohtani was.
So that's the biggest thing for me is Shohei. It's like suddenly Andujar
How many
and
games did Ohtani pitch in this year
I think like
That's a great question.
following the injury? Because early on he had the blister on his
I want to say he
hand,
pitched like 8 or 9 games this year.
and then he's going to get Tommy Johns.
Yeah, so he's gonna be shut down for the whole year, or just as a pitcher. I think he.
Well, he came back. He DH'd. He DH'd.
He did DH
okay.
some.
majority of the year. So
I wanna say he pitched
when
8
he
or
came
9.
back, he pitched 2. So he pitched 10 games on the year.
Okay. But that's the thing. I think the reason Shohei wins is when you look at Shohei as someone who can pitch and hit.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Andujar and
Well, it's
Torres,
just like
they look like DHs.
right. It's like, dude, they're not doing enough, which is crazy because they're everyday infielders.
I know they're everyday infielders,
So-
and it's like it's not even
As
like,
opposed to this guy who plays. Granted, he
first baseman.
DHs. Well, he played first base, but he DH'd a lot
Yeah.
for Anaheim because of Pujols. So, like, he DH'd for them on his off day, on like every other off day. So it was like he had one day of rest, and then Socha would have him DH 2, 3, and then he'd sit 4, pitch 5. So that was at least for the beginning of the year, and then after the second week of June, that June 9th start, he didn't pitch again because of his injury. But the months of April and May were so much fun to watch him play. Like, I remember last year on the podcast, I was kind of like super low on him and like didn't really know what to expect, and he really blew me away with how good he was.
Yeah, I wasn't ready to sit there and say he was going to be a Cy Young pitcher
Austin
and then
was.
a Silver Slugger. Austin was all in.
Yeah,
And to
Austin
give the
was
man
all in.
credit, I mean, he exceeded my expectations
Oh yeah,
by
definitely.
far. And hopefully he recovers from his injury. I mean, I would like to see him back. He's exciting. I think he's good for baseball.
Right. I mean, he posted a 285 batting average. He had 22 home runs and 61 RBIs, and he had 10 stolen bases.
That's incredible. So this is actually an interesting question. With
925 OPS. Oh my god.
With the precedent from the
guy's
the
awesome.
award for Rookie of the Year, right?
Mhm.
It's like if he's a good pitcher and a good hitter, is he an MVP candidate? Like, what's the baseline for him?
I think
'Cause
that
I feel like it's kind of skewed, right? If suddenly every other person is a one-dimensional player, where it's like you don't do the things that he does he have an unfair advantage?
see.
I mean, is it?
I guess. I mean, because by definition, he is literally the most valuable player.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Because he
saying.
pitches you to victories and he can hit you to a victory.
So I don't even
So,
think it's necessarily
I
unfair
agree.
because he's doing it himself. That's what I'm saying. It feels
Yeah.
like he might win a comparatively inordinate amount of MVPs just because he
He's
pitches
gotta-
and hits.
He's got to play a full season
Yeah,
to
obviously.
get that kind of nomination, but I wouldn't be opposed to giving it to him if that's the case. Granted, like, don't get me wrong, if he's posting like a 5 ERA,
Yeah.
that he's not winning it then. But if he posts like a 3,
Yeah,
4
that's what I'm saying.
maybe,
If he has like a sub 3 RA, hits 30 home runs, starts like 20 games,
it's
and maybe has like
uncanny. Yeah,
350 plate appearances, I'm voting for him for MVP probably.
On the
of
same
course.
argument, though, if he, let's say he has 1 year where he does have like a 5 ERA, but he goes out and hits
But he
40
hits, like,
home
yeah,
runs,
yeah,
does that
yeah,
hurt his
he could hit
MVP
40
case?
home
Or on the
runs.
other side, if he has a great ERA, but then
Yeah.
DHs and
Yeah.
hits under the Mendoza line, does that hurt his MVP case?
Yeah, that's another tough one. That I feel like that's more of a bridge.
I don't know,
A
'cause-
bridge you got to cross when you get there. But
Yeah.
it's. I feel like with how the MVP award is, if he has a terrible ERA but has great batting stats, I feel like the MVP would still be more favorable for him. But however, if he has terrible batting stats and he has great pitching stats, that's more of a Cy Young argument as
Yeah.
opposed to MVP argument, which I guess is kind of
was-
skewed.
When was the last
line.
time an NL pitcher won MVP?
I know Verlander won.
Verlander won
for-
AL in
yeah,
2011, I want to say.
Yeah, 2011, 2012, something like that.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
Kershaw ever win an MVP?
I think he did. He
I
won in like
believe
2015 or 16,
so.
right? So that's the thing. It's like if you look at the precedent for NL pitchers winning MVP, it's like I think that's sort of where Ohtani needs to be batting wise, and in order to have like a baseline, but he needs to
Yeah,
pitch like
Clay-
an apex Verlander or apex Clayton Kershaw, and it's like
Clayton
congratulations, there's,
Kershaw
like
was
5 people that can do that
MVP.
ever.
Clayton Kershaw was MVP in 2014.
Okay, and it's like I mean the bar is unbelievably high to pitch like that in order to win MVP. But the important part is if you're as good of a bat as Ohtani is, the bar gets lowered a lot for where you need to be at as a pitcher, I think, in order to be considered. Like suddenly, instead of needing a
surprise.
1.7 ERA, it's like if you have a 2.7 ERA, which is still great. But you know, I don't know. It's an interesting thought that I just had is with the way awards are. Like, it looks like he might be, I guess, I don't know, in the running for MVP for the rest of his career as long as he pans out like we've seen he has the talent to.
I've kind of been not hypercritical, but I've kind of made this statement that I don't believe that he's going to be a pitcher his entire career.
I mean, you could be right.
Uh,
It's hard. It's a lot of wear and tear and a lot of constant evolving that you need to do to keep up.
yeah, like as much as he wants to do it, I just think physically his body's going to be like, look, bro, let's not anymore. Let's not and enjoy the fact that we did.
Yeah.
I want to interject real quick, and this is completely, I mean, it's on topic because it deals with MLB, but shout out to Christian Yelich that actually has been announced. He is the NL MVP, as we all assumed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's fantastic.
Congratulations. You were
and
probably the best player in baseball over the last half of the season.
yeah, he was the hottest man in baseball.
When you're putting up literal Barry Bonds numbers and there's not
Yeah.
even talks of PEDs, it's like you're doing something pretty,
Yeah.
you're doing
Look at him.
something
There's no
pretty good.
PEDs in that body.
Nah,
Not
I-
at all.
I'm curious what's going to happen with his free agency. I don't know. I believe it's either next year or the year after. But Milwaukee better enjoy him while they got him.
I hope he stays. That'd be great.
That'd be awesome. That'd be
Other
really fun.
big MLB news that I found out today is Miami officially changed their
Yes.
logo.
That's right.
It's
Yeah.
awesome. I love it.
I think-
Yeah,
I don't know
I
how
love
feel
it.
about it, but
I
love it.
think
they
it's
they
good.
tried to take more of the Vice City
Yeah.
Miami.
Yeah,
Heat
I think it's
logo.
sweet.
That was the
That's
first thing-
cool.
That was the first thing I thought of when I
So-
saw it.
I like that they
think
brought
it's-
back
yeah.
the Marlin,
I think it's
Mhm.
cool. They brought
It's
back
awesome.
the Marlin.
and they already announced that they got rid of that gaudy home run statue. What's
Yeah.
I kind of liked
Oh,
it. I'm
man.
not gonna
The
lie, I kind
sunny,
of liked it.
like the sun dolphin thing. Yeah, that was weird.
But they also say they
No
want to
thanks.
add kind of like standing room only seating in center field. And I think what's it now, like green? It's like that ugly green. They're gonna see if I'm bringing up a picture, but they're gonna kind of redo the outfield so it doesn't look dumb anymore.
Yeah, the Jeter effect. Let's bring it back. Let's reel it back, guys.
The Jeter effect, when you torch your entire franchise and set it.
To be fair,
literally burn it to the ground.
To be fair, they did not have the money to justify the Giancarlo Stanton contract.
Congratulations, you got.
I'd rather trade him
35
away.
cents on the dollar for an NL MVP candidate. Actually, NL MVP. He won MVP that year.
When he hit 50 home runs,
he did.
Okay.
Yeah, he won, but they got. I mean, Starlin Castro. Yeah, see, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Let's open up the stadium.
Yeah,
I mean,
that looks
obviously
good.
it's opened up anyway, but like I like that a lot better than I like the statue. That feels way more open too.
Yeah.
Like it. I don't know. With that giant orange terrible statue,
Whatever.
it kind of like felt condensed and like it was terrible.
All right.
Remember, Aaron Judge is the only one that's hit a home run as crazy and basically impossible in that in the old stadium. Well, I guess it's still the same stadium, but still. Yeah, let's move on. Austin's not here, but let's touch on NHL. Tom Wilson's back. Grayson, how do you feel? Goodbye, Rick. I know you're going on mute. You're going on mute for a little bit.
The thing, I mean, Austin always thought that Tom Wilson's suspension was harsh, the 20 games.
Well, it's funny because when we were talking about it originally, we said that he's going to appeal it and it's not like he's going to get it reduced. And then the report came out that it's not going to get reduced.
Yeah, Gary Bettman held it.
And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, nope, you're good.
And then a neutral arbiter actually did reduce it to 14 games, and he played. And, of course, he scored, and then he got a major penalty in the same play at the Tom Wilson way.
Yeah, it's funny. Jesse Varner and I were talking about it earlier, and we were like, oh, he was a fight away from the hat trick, from the Tom Wilson hat trick.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was just thinking about that, actually.
So, I don't know. I don't think it's fun that he's back. I'm not a big Tom Wilson guy.
Wonder why.
I mean, I think it's funny. I think it's gonna be hilarious when they play Pittsburgh and Tom Wilson just immediately beelines for Genny Malkin to avenge Oshie. So we'll see what happens with that. Shout out to your boy Joe Thornton on 400 goals.
It was awesome. I was actually watching that game against Nashville. They won 5-4. It was a great game. San Jose scored the first 3. Then Nashville scored 4 in a row. Then my man Joe Pavelski got a goal. Then Thornton won it. But he's I think I've read 7th player in NHL history to have 1,500 assists, or 1,000 assists, 400 goals, and 1,500 games.
Wow.
So it's either 1,500 games and 1,000 assists, or vice versa. I don't remember the exact numbers.
Wow, that's crazy.
Sorry, how many was that? The 4th?
7th.
7th? Okay.
7th. Speaking of Nashville, rip in peace, PK Subban.
Yeah.
It sucks. They put him on IR today. I didn't see the injury.
Oh wait.
Still,
speaking of
very
IR and gruesome injuries,
such a great player.
I'm gonna hijack this segment for just a second. Carrie Levere actually is.
Yeah, Chris Levere is playing now.
Yeah, he's not done for the year.
I'm mad I didn't put that in the NBA notes, but yeah, like.
Anyway, don't watch footage of the injury. I have not seen footage of the injury, but literally everyone that I saw mentioning it told me not to watch it, so I didn't watch it.
So it was 7th player with 400 goals, 1,000 assists, and 1,500
Jake,
games.
Not
See, I saw the
on
Kevin
air.
Ware injury, so now any other leg injury, I'm immune to.
Yeah, the Kevin Ware thing I watched.
Like once I saw bone, I was like, it can't get worse from here. Unless a dude loses his leg, it can't get worse.
Man.
But back to NHL.
Yeah, NHL. Sorry.
Something that I found interesting. This is the second time the Sharks and the Preds had played this year. Once in Nashville, once in San Jose. Both games were 5-4. And San Jose take it with a grain of salt. This past game, Pekka didn't play. But San Jose can score goals. There's never any doubt about that. There was also a trade that involves your Penguins.
Yes,
Carl Hagelin traded for Pearson.
Yes. So Pearson for Hagelin with the Kings, and I don't really understand the trade more so than I'm not necessarily against it or for it. I'm confused. I didn't think that I believe he's a forward or a wing. I don't remember. Do you remember?
Left wing.
Yeah, so he's a wing. I didn't understand that at all. I thought Pittsburgh's biggest deficiency is defense. So bringing in a winger makes no sense, especially because Pearson is in an offensive slump and has been all year. He has 0 goals on the year and with 1 assist. Granted, Hagelin's not much better. He has 1 goal on the year with, I believe, 2 assists. So now the question is, okay, well, you have this guy. So if he doesn't shake out of this slump, he's literally just sitting on your bench collecting $3.5 million.
I don't think it makes the Penguins better.
Right, that's what I'm saying too. Like it makes them slower. It makes
Yeah.
them a slower, because Pearson's not a better skater, and I don't understand. I don't understand.
And I think their
all.
speed. I mean, I know it was the speed is the reason that they won the Stanley Cup in 2016. Sharks
Right.
just couldn't keep up with them.
Yeah,
And I know when you have Sidney Crosby, you have Malkin, Jake Gensel has been phenomenal, and Matt Murray. But I don't know why. Like you said, I don't understand it. I don't think it makes them better. I don't think it helps their chances in the East.
yeah.
That definitely doesn't put them above Toronto
That's what I'm saying.
or
Like
Tampa Bay.
It
I
doesn't.
don't understand
yeah.
it.
It makes zero sense. It doesn't help us, like you said. It doesn't help us beat a team like Toronto. It doesn't help us beat Tampa. I am curious as to what the thought process is. I trust my team, so it's kind of a wait and see sort of situation. I am trying to remain positive.
Time out.
What you got?
People get to trust their favorite professional franchises. I can't relate at all.
You don't trust your franchises. You don't trust your Bostonian fanhood.
I trust the Celtics. I don't trust Washington at all.
I mean, it's the Redskins though. Historically,
Yeah, that's my point.
You trust the Red Sox, don't you?
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. I don't know. I don't know.
So if you
It's
trust
just-
2 out of 3,
yeah, I guess that's just the biggest problem is I'm not like super hardcore Celtics or Red Sox fans.
when you suffer through losing NFL seasons, a majority of the time, you have to learn how to trust your franchise. As opposed, I mean, you can criticize them all you want, but at the same time, at the end of the day, you're not going to denounce your fanhood unless
No,
it's something
I'm not.
really, really stupid. So
Doubling down on the Redskins name might be a way to do it.
that'd be funny.
The Redskins. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, good old Dan Schneider.
What a guy. All right, sorry. Back
No.
to hockey.
That's basically what I was just. That's basically it for me. Like that's all I really wanted to talk about was the trade. Like it's kind of been a slow hockey week. Like I said, with Subban's injury.
Vasilevsky
really
also
sucks.
went back home. They might have a broken foot. That hurts.
Oh my gosh.
Toronto, yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, that's
Vasilevsky
a huge.
should be out.
That's
Yeah.
kind of a huge loss for them actually.
So
that's,
we're just kind of chucking along.
yeah. Like, all right. So let's move on. Let's go to the NFL.
All
I
right,
want to.
well,
I want to. Everyone's favorite sport.
I mean,
I want to talk about how the Titans.
that's what we're talking about first.
Well, that's what I want to start out with
Wait, we have-
because
but
it was
you-
the most shocking news of the week.
No, the most shocking news of the week is Le'Veon Bell. The saga finally concluded, Jake. Come on.
The saga concluded how we all figured it was.
We
gonna
had 10 weeks
conclude.
of build up for this,
Literally-
bro.
Literally every superhero movie ends with the good guy winning, and in this particular movie, we all figured this is how it was going to end, right? We all figured that he wasn't going to play for Pittsburgh this year, and what do you know? He's like,
Wow.
I'm not going to play. And the fact of the matter is, he deserves. If he doesn't make $14 million next year, it's for naught.
Yeah,
It's for
honestly.
naught.
But who's not going to pay him? You mean to tell me that the Jets aren't going to pay him like 14 mil?
I don't think that the Jets necessarily have the team that he'd want to play for. If they
Okay.
don't have an O-line, you don't want to play because you don't want to get hurt. There you go. You're going to get hurt with that offensive line. And Sam Darnold is your quarterback. No, I think if he signs with the right team for 14, then it's worth it. But if he signs for less, then it was for naught. Like I said, like it's not. It made no sense. And I believe me, I'm a huge Le'Veon Bell supporter in regards to
Yeah,
he deserves to make his money.
absolutely.
And I believe that I'm a huge proponent of getting rid of the franchise tag. I think the franchise tag is
I
ridiculous.
think the way a lot of franchises use it is just so
Like the Redskins and Kirk
unbelievable. Man, I
Cousins?
don't want to talk about that right now. Come on.
But that's exactly my point though. Like that's what makes it so pointless. It's like this guy can make more money. You want to shackle him from making it
Yeah,
in a
I
league
know.
where people get
I
Or-
apologize.
get hurt all the time and
Yeah.
lose out in their career. It makes me so angry. Just like, and also like it makes no sense for the NFL. Off seasons are so much fun to watch
With free agency.
with free agencies, and the NFL's like, oh no, forget it. But
And
it's so funny because we just saw how big it can be because Kirk Cousins was the
I
biggest
know.
story.
and
of the
it-
NFL
and with the
offseason.
trend setting for the contract that he got too, with like all of it being guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just with NFL, we get big free agency years every like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and
It just takes a mad
It's not
confluence
like
of events to get
baseball.
there. Yeah, it's not like baseball or the NBA where it's suddenly like, oh my God, half the league is a free agent after this year. Like we
Yeah.
might actually see in the NBA after this year, literally 50% of the NBA
wow.
might be a free agent after this year.
I didn't know that. That's crazy. That is really crazy.
That is unbelievable.
But yeah, like if you're Le'Veon in a team like Baltimore, I've said Tampa. I said Tampa's a good fit for him.
Baltimore's a better fit for me.
Baltimore's
Seattle might be a good
Baltimore's
one.
the ideal fit in my opinion. And then everyone I talked to talks about Vegas. Hey, breaking news. Mookie Betts, like we all said.
Oh wow!
So we're all kind of
Nice. We
2
did it,
for
guys.
2 today for these MVP picks.
We got the gimmies, I guess.
Yeah, really. At this point, yeah. So that's kind of my take on the Le'Veon Bell situation. You're not playing. If you don't make 14, you didn't make a difference. And as a result, well, I don't know if you didn't make a difference. That's kind of harsh, but you basically wasted a year of your prime.
And I think the biggest
And a
thing
lot of money.
is that
And a
he's
lot of
also.
money.
I mean, with James Conner's been really good this year.
James
for
Conner's been
Pittsburgh.
really good, which is honestly it's detrimental to the whole Le'Veon Bell thing because of the fact
Suddenly
that
it's like, wait a second, is it a system thing?
yeah, right, like
Or is Connor actually? I think Connor might actually be that good. Like I know he had a kind of rough like first 2 games, but he's really picked it up since then. And I think I wasn't that impressed with him to start the year, but he's been really good since then. And it's
I thought he was kind of like a
undeniable.
one-hit wonder, but he's definitely come
Yeah.
out and proven me
the
wrong.
Steelers have a very good offensive line though. David DeCastro is unbelievably good.
Yeah, and Villanueva. I was
Yeah.
about to say Charlie Villanueva. That's
Yeah,
not,
Charlie
not the
Villanueva,
guy, not the
no,
boy.
That is
not
not the guy.
Yeah, I
Not
don't
the boy.
necessarily think that doesn't hurt Le'Veon Bell's free agency chances. Like I think he's.
Really?
I don't know if it does or not. I mean, it would have been one thing if he sits out and then Steelers have absolutely zero running game.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still Le'Veon Bell. Teams still
Yeah.
know what he's
Oh,
capable of. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens when he gets to work out with teams.
Yeah.
And see what kind of shape he's in because he has sat out a year. But on the
Right.
same side, he's been able to sit out a year, rest. He didn't get injured.
Yeah,
He's,
exactly.
He didn't have any touches put on his body either.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
the biggest thing. Running back is not a generous position,
No,
Yeah,
so
not
to
by
say.
any
not too
means.
friendly.
Unless you're
So-
Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, really. The endless gas tank that is Adrian Peterson.
So I guess we'll have to see. It'll be interesting. But
yeah,
and that's why the
I think it's
Steelers aren't.
fun.
That's why it's not a story. It'd be one thing if the Steelers were struggling and they needed a running back, but they haven't been.
Yeah.
Connor's been great,
Yeah,
and they don't miss Le'Veon Bell.
no,
He's
'cause they
definitely
don't-
not an asset to the locker room. He doesn't seem to be that much of an asset on the field.
Well, it's so funny
were
too
looting his
because
locker
after
room.
I was about to say after today they literally were looting him and Bud Dupree made a
Thanks for
video
the Jordan
thanking
cleats.
thanking him for his cleats. Like that's so funny.
That's terrible though.
That is so funny though. I don't imagine that they did it with malintent.
Are you serious? I mean, I hope
I mean,
so.
maybe, but at the same time, like, why is his stuff still in there? Like, that makes no sense to me. I don't know.
I hope Le'Veon gets like a 4 or 5 year contract, but I don't think he's gonna get
I
it.
hope that Bud Dupree texted him before and was like, "Yo, man, I'm taking
Yeah,
these.
seriously.
I'm taking these cleats.
But Dupree,
you
if you
care?"
just took those cleats, you're a bum. I'm sorry.
Yeah. If it comes out that you just stole all this crap, like, nah, you're a bum. At that point, you're a
You're
bum.
making the fight list.
You'd make the fight list, hardcore. But
Tune in next week.
Yeah.
really.
Actually, not next week.
I
Tune in
wanna-
2 weeks from
Yeah,
now.
that's
But-
right.
but I really
Have a good
want-
Thanksgiving, everyone.
I really want to talk about this though, like. Des Bryant signs with the Saints, and
Aw,
last week we all talk about how good of a signing it is, how great of a fit
We
it
talked
is.
about how interesting it could be.
24 hours later, he tears his Achilles.
It was his plan
tendon.
all along, I bet. Get paid, get hurt.
Like, how terrible is that? Like,
think-
what the worst luck in the world?
There's a phrase. It's German. I believe it's called Schadenfreude.
I guess I don't know.
It's sort
I'm
of
not
like
German.
it's like
We need Austin for that.
it's like
Yeah.
enjoyment in the misery of others,
Mhm.
in a sense. Where I don't know. I'm probably horribly misrepresenting this word. And
Are you
pronouncing
saying
it.
that you
However,
enjoy?
no,
that
I'm
what
saying
happened
that
to him?
seems to be the
Oh.
general like consensus with the Des Bryant thing, where we're just sort
What?
of enjoying the absurdity of it, right?
Oh well, yeah. It's definitely a strange story. Like I don't even atone it to karma. Like it does.
Because I don't
It's
think
not
he did anything bad
Right,
necessarily.
right. All he did was hold out. But then again, like
I
in
don't- I
all
don't know why
retrospect,
you're
I
holding out,
imagine
but-
he probably should have taken the Baltimore deal. But
Definitely should have taken the Baltimore deal.
at the same time, like
I mean, he
you gotta
should
do
have.
what you gotta
You can
do.
look at that now, but then on the same side, he could have won a Super Bowl with the Saints.
well, and the best part is if Drew Brees plays next year, it's not like he's gonna have any less chance.
That's true.
Like
Drew Brees doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon.
right, and they have interest in bringing him back next year. So Des Bryant easily could have found a new home in New Orleans, and I imagine. I don't know what their scheduling looks like. I could probably figure it out if I gave it more time, but there's a chance they could play Dallas next year. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be in the Superdome, but still.
So you want to go to results from last week?
Well, Austin's not really. Austin's not here.
No. Surprising results. You want to talk about the?
Oh, okay, yeah. So
the Pats Titans game.
So yeah. Let's talk about that. Marcus Mariota and Deion Lewis. Really, Tennessee put on a show and killed the Pats at home.
Beat them 34-10, I believe.
Yeah, 34-10. The Patriots looked terrible. Their run game looked terrible, and I feel so bad because on Jesse's show, I told everybody that had Sonny Michel to play him, and Sonny Michel didn't really do much this week for me in fantasy football. Yeah, I know.
No.
Yeah, I know. If you had any of those, if you had any mean tweets, please tweet them at me. I will absolutely retweet them.
His handle
and follow
is
you.
at Jake_Lep, I believe.
Yeah, please follow me. I will definitely and be as mean as you can because I love it. I love everything about it. As you can see, Ricky bullies me on
I
that.
absolutely bully this man on Twitter all the time.
And so yeah, like that's so interesting to me, and especially because like the AFC South is super competitive.
It really is.
Houston, Indy's tough, and obviously Tennessee's tough.
Jacksonville's still a sleeping
Jacksonville,
bear.
exactly. So with Leonard Fournette coming back finally, it's that division is going to be so much fun to watch, especially because the AFC only has so many playoff spots.
Yeah, honestly, the crunch is really happening. And
right.
Austin's question at the start of the year, I think it was about week 4 or 5 when he asked me if the AFC is better than the NFC. I told him no.
What? I still think
because I didn't think it was there yet. I think it might be there now.
Yeah,
we might be getting there because Pittsburgh's been really good.
Pittsburgh is really good, especially after they remember last week we said that Carolina game was going to be really good. Trounced, absolutely trounced.
Actually, 2 of the people on the show picked the Steelers.
I picked Carolina.
I know you and Austin picked Carolina, but
I will absolutely hold that L. That game was crazy.
San Diego's been really good this year too. Looks like they're finally putting it all together, considering the talent they have on defense between Melvin Ingram and Joey Bosa and
LAC is really good.
Man, some safety guy I want to Washington to pick at 13 or whatever.
Yeah, God, you mean that guy from Florida State? He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Derwin James, pretty good. God. Yeah, I can honestly see them make a run, which is crazy. Anthony Lynn, former Buffalo interim head coach, he's really got that offense looking good. And that game against Seattle was really fun to watch.
Keenan Allen's also all the way back now, and Keenan Allen is a treat to watch.
And Phillip Rivers is good.
Oh man, it's almost like he might be the best QB from that draft class or something.
I don't know. He doesn't have any rings.
Man, what a bummer that is, right? It's almost like you've played for no good coaches in your career.
Well, until now. Anthony Lynn.
Yeah, that's right. And finally he made it 1 year with a good coach. It is his 14th year in the league.
Another thing that we got to talk about, guys. Austin's going to be so sad. But we found out 2 days ago that Nathan INT Peterman is gone.
It's the end of an era.
He is now 5,000 candles in the wind. I will not miss him. I don't care where you go, buddy, but I know you're probably going to get intercepted on the way there. You have no memorable moment. Actually, no, I shouldn't say that. Your memorable moment one is that game tying in the snow game, the game tying TD in the snow game. But after that,
what about his debut? That was memorable.
A long list of just being terrible. So, see ya. Don't let the door hit you.
Break a table on the way out.
Yeah, please join the Mafia. That'd be hilarious. You'd probably be, knowing Buffalo fans, they're super forgiving. We'll look at Scott Norwood. They are super forgiving. So Nathan, they'll definitely throw you through a table if you need help. Another thing, quick shout out Matt Barkley, the 4th starting quarterback for Buffalo this year.
5th. He is the 5th quarterback this year. Peterman, Anderson, Allen,
Matt Barkley.
I'm forgetting one. I had it in the group chat, man. It was 5. It was definitely 5.
I'm a Bills fan.
I know.
It's
What's
4.
wrong with you? Come on, who was the QB they started the year with?
You can't even count AJ McCarron because he didn't even make the regular season roster. They traded him in the preseason.
Damn.
Sucks to
My
suck.
bad. It's right. It does suck to suck.
Anyway.
So
we beat the. Sorry, Grayson. I gotta put this out there.
Yeah.
We went into our bye week. Won. We did it. We went to the Jets, smacked them in the mouth. Loved every minute of it. Can't wait to do it again against Jacksonville coming off the bye week. Love everything about it. Hopefully, I don't know what to do about Josh Allen, if Josh Allen's going to start or not. Coming back from the bye week, we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's go into this rundown. But this week it's going to be different. It's rundown starring Grayson.
God, we got Grayson doing the rundown. This
Yeah.
is like forever. He's going to take forever doing this.
No.
I got a minute. I got big
got
shoes to fill,
1
but
minute.
we'll try. So Thursday night we have
No,
Pack.
do this last.
What are you doing? Boo! Don't interrupt him. Let's go.
Okay.
Come on, you got to get the format right, man.
Sucks to
Sorry.
suck.
Okay. Not Thursday. So we have Cincinnati at Baltimore. I think it'll be a close game. Joe Flacco might not play, but I'm still going with Baltimore. Cowboys at Atlanta. Cowboys coming off a big win, but I think playing in Atlanta, Falcons are going to win. Tampa Bay at New York. Don't know about Tampa Bay. New York coming off a win. I'm going with New York. Steelers at Jacksonville. This game could be interesting. They've had a lot of history, but I think Pittsburgh goes into Jacksonville and wins. Texans at Redskins. Going with the Redskins. Sorry, Ricky. Titans at Colts. This could be interesting, too. Andrew Luck is playing phenomenally. I'm going to go with Indianapolis. Panthers at Lions. Going with the Panthers. I think they're pretty good. Coming off a loss. Still think they're pretty good. Broncos at Chargers. Chargers win that game. Game of the week. Raiders at Cardinals. Can't believe I'm doing it. Picking the Cardinals. Eagles at Saints. Drew Brees is going to have a field day against that secondary. Drew Brees. Saints going to kill him. Vikings at Bears. This will be fun. Going with Chicago in Chicago. Chiefs at Rams. The game that got moved. Going with LA.
All right. And
Beautiful.
Thursday night.
And that was a complete minute.
That was a minute.
Thursday night, I'm taking Green Bay.
I'm taking Seattle because it's in Seattle.
I'm taking Green Bay.
All right, cool. And you got a NASCAR fact for today?
Yeah, I got a quick NASCAR fact.
All right.
So I mentioned before that Jimmy Johnson and Chad Canales are parting ways this season. Jimmy Johnson is also parting ways with Lowe's sponsor she's had his entire career.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't believe this.
So Jimmy Johnson and Lowe's had 83 wins together. It is second all time, second only to Jeff Gordon and Exalta, formerly known as DuPont, who had 87 wins. So it is officially the end of an era in NASCAR following Sunday.
All of my NASCAR knowledge crumbling around me as the world changes and the new era is ushered in.
So we will not be here next week. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Yep.
See you in 2 weeks.
Have a good time, everyone.
Bye.